Head of Hematology, Clinical Hematology at Inselspital Bern, and she is a member of the SNF Research Council. Welcome to the podium.
Thank you very much for inviting me and for the very kind introduction. So today I will speak, as it is written, about the role of funding agency in career evaluation and also incentive for collaboration, but I will focus mainly on the SNF. So important, and it was already mentioned before today, is to support emerging talents. And SNSF has a great program for that, but this program has no value if there is no collaboration with the Swiss institutions of higher education. So it has to be done together to promote these talents. Promoting talents at the SNSF is also linked to excellence. And just before we heard about competition. They are competitive grants. All the career grants, they are competitive grants. And we want to give always the grants to the people with the best chance to develop an outstanding academic career. But of course, for this, we need good evaluation process, an evaluation process that is also as fair as possible. What is important is also to recognize the importance of diversity in science, of course, in terms of gender, but also age and scientific fields and backgrounds. And for this, the SNSF is great because it founds a lot of diverse topics and fields and give a chance to the diversity and consider it as a potential of excellence. Here you see what was given by the Swiss Confederation just before the COVID in 2019. And you see that the Swiss Confederation gave slightly less than a quarter of the funds for research and development to the SNSF. If you look now at this table that depicts the main academic stakeholders in the field of clinical research, you see that for the research funding and for the persons, the SNSF plays a very important role, followed by the Swiss Academy of Medical Sciences, also thanks to Professor Meyer-Abt, and followed by the ESAKK and the Swiss Institutions of Higher Education. When you look at the approved funding categories in 2021, you see that career received 25% of the funding, of the approved funding, and it is divided between the different career instruments. I will talk about them a little bit later: Ambizione, Excellenza, fellowships, Prima, SNSF professorship, DocCH, MD fellowships. And you see that most of the money goes to Ambizione and Excellenza programs. When we look at the SNSF funding, as you can see here, project staff are younger, and project leaders and partners tends to be older, and there are more males in leading research, and then females, and also when you increase age, there is also less project staff. So this is sadly the reality, but we will hear more about later today. When you look at the different funding instruments, you see that the funding instrument supporting young researcher mobility, early career postdoc mobility, there is more female or almost equality between males and females. When you go to more advanced support for the career, or you see that there are less female applicants and male applicants. And this is also what is also seen at the Swiss universities and institutes of technology, where at the end there are less female professors than male professors. But at the younger stage of the career, there are more females in the technique support and in the scientific stuff. Careers. What opportunities does the SNSF create for young researchers? Early scientific independence, mobility abroad with the mobility grants, but also there is a possibility to use a grant like Ambizione or Excellencia to go part of the time abroad to complete the career, intersectoral mobility, academia, industry, institutions operating in the practical field, carrying out an independent project with their own team, career progress thanks to SNF support, particularly for women when we look at the gender equality grant and balancing family and academic career by the use of the flexibility grants. An important program that is also very important to mention in the context of this symposium dedicated to Professor Mayer-Abt, who was president of the Swiss Academy of Medical Sciences, is a national MD-PhD program. This is an important program, although it's not a very large amount of funding that is given to this program, currently supporting 13 medical doctors who wants to do an MD PhD. There is a pre-selection by the MD PhD Commission, local, and then the best candidate are sent to the national program committee, where each time it's very difficult to decide to whom to give these grants, because obviously all the candidates are excellent. So what I would say, if I can say something, we have not enough money for this important program to support clinicians. Thanks to SRMS, there is also possibility to support young talents in clinical research program. Postdoc mobility is an important instrument. Also, when we look at the clinical career, for a PD, it's important to have a year abroad, and this is an excellent way to develop a career and go abroad to complete research in a field of the choice of the candidate. There is also return option for Switzerland. When we see the numbers, only 150 fellowships per year without the return phase, it's not a lot. Ambizione is really a program supporting the first step towards scientific independence and gives the opportunity to a young researcher to jump and conduct an independent research project with own team at a Swiss research institution. Grants, there are approximately 80 per year that are given. Importantly, now it's not important anymore to have, before applying for Ambizione, evidence of geographical mobility. But when the candidate submits an Ambizione grant, she or he has to state about mobility, showing international, sectorial, institutional, disciplinary, and intellectual mobility. As said before, there is a possibility to use part of the Ambizione time to go abroad and complete mobility. Excellencia Professorial Fellowship is the highest grant that the SNSF give, and has merged, and SNSF has merged Excellencia and Prima, the two schemes that are at the highest level of career funding, and this is effective as of 2023. There was no Excellencia call in 2022 due to Switzerland's exclusion from Horizon Europe. the Excellencia funding scheme was integrated into the SNSF starting grant along with the ERC starting grants. Information of the next call probably will be announced soon, but it will be probably a possibility for Excellencia again. So what about the evaluation? The evaluation is challenging. It's a process that starts from the submission, then there is an external review when we speak about the project funding. The external review come a little bit at the second step for some career grants, and then internal referee from the SNSF, 2 of them review independently the grant. Oh, sorry. Okay, because I had 5 minutes more, it's, okay, thank you. I am going to close. I wanted to mention not just the measures, if possible. What is necessary is a closer collaboration between the SNSF and the Swiss institutions of higher education, and this has to be established for young talents. For candidates preparing request grants for the career grant, it is important to structure, to have a structured monitoring at the host institution, and also for the recipient of the career grant afterwards, a structured support from the institution. And for the recipients of professorial fellowships, it is important to think about offering tenure track positions at the host institution. Support package should be also thought about from the host institution, and also institutions have to recognize the value of these career grants as prestigious. So thank you very much for your attention.